What is going on, guys? Brandon here. Howdy doody. Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. The algorithm hates truth. The algorithm cannot stand truth. But we are here to bring truth. Well, at least my truth. And that is all any of us can ask for at the end of the day. That's all God is asking us to do, is to bring our truth to the table and stand with honesty, morality, integrity, if I could speak and talk words. So what is going on today? Well, big news. Gold hits $2,000. Gold hits $2,000. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. We are in incredible times. There's no way to say it other than that. There really isn't. We got the global indicators, the trifecta, as we talk about all the time. The 10-year 3.4 and been dropping over the last few weeks. And obviously with liquidity being pushed into the market and all kinds of craziness going on, it's getting bought up by entities, liquidity, who knows what it is, sovereign central banks, and people just fleeing to safety, liquidity pouring back into the market. And that's the huge indicator, right? The 10 years is the benchmark yield for the world. And so that's why that's one of our biggest indicators. We always have to be watching that. And right there, 1B to the 10-year Treasury's 1A is the DXY. The Dixie, the dollar relative strength, has been on a downtrend really the last handful of months. We had a little blip here over the last month or two, last month and a half, which we've been watching very closely. But then all of a sudden things start cracking. Banks start collapsing. Well, what do you know? And the dollar starts falling off the horse here. So down to 102. And again, falling. So we will keep an eye on this and see where liquidity, generally when this happens, again, when the DXY is falling, the 10-year yield is falling, and the bonds are being bought up because they're inverse, that means that we are starting to potentially see runs in risk assets, as you know, people call them equities, risk assets, things like that. But Bitcoin right now has been, dubbed one of those risk assets. It's going up. And gold, like we said, now we have, and then to round out the trifecta, we want to see what oil is doing. So oil down almost 2%, but again, it's been kind of chopping around. It was in the 60s, now bounced back up towards 70. So watch this. People are unsure about what's going to happen going forward with the economy. And the economy is good here, though. Working on the house, as you can hear, got construction going on at the house. So bear with us there. But oil is one of those big indicators of how the economy is going to be doing, though, because it is showing everything's made with oil, right? Everything is made oil, energy. So, every little thing you have, AirPods, you name it, is made because of some type of oil, plastics, things like that. But at the very least, it was probably flown. It was a ship. It was a truck that needed oil, needed diesel, needed to get somewhere. That's why oil is such a big player. It's the third key to our trifecta to see where things are going. And oil's dropped off a bit because people thought, hey, maybe the economy is going to have some trouble going forward and things are going to slow down a little bit, recession, stuff like that. That's why oil's really probably been falling off over the last few months, as we've seen here in this downward trajectory. So, watch for that. Watch for that big time, as that is one of the third biggest indicator, the 10-year Treasury, the DXY, and crude oil. So let's get to the three global liquidity indicators, though. We have Bitcoin, like we said, up at 28.5. Had a little wick down yesterday, but back up, violently moving upward again. And we don't know what this is. It's probably a lot of crypto people. Michael Saylor said this. I was talking on some spaces the last couple of days, and I think a lot of people in the Bitcoin space probably are thinking that this is just other crypto bros. This is other people figuring it out and realizing, oh my goodness, Bitcoin is the only thing. It is the true thing. There's probably some other buyers out there, some retail, maybe some institutional stuff, small. But a lot of the retail, they still don't know what's going on. They still have no idea. I mean, I'm talking to people. A lot of people don't even know banks are collapsing yet. So it's probably not a ton of retail, I would imagine, just because people are just unaware as to what's going on. So it's probably a lot of capitulation in the crypto space and people realizing, oh, Bitcoin is the only true thing. It is the apex financial asset, and not only in the digital space, but just in general, it's the apex asset. Bonds are terrible. Those are enslavement contracts just in general, and also just a terrible investment vehicle going forward in general in the environment we are in because of the massive debt, the massive printing that is going to take place, the financial repression. So, but I want to save the best for last. Gold hitting 2,000 again. Gold hitting 2,000. So we got to check this out. Gold, silver up above 23, so we'll start with that. So huge run up here in the last few days with silver getting a bid up to over $23. But gold, look at this, baby. Gold doesn't usually move that much, right? Gold is steady, old reliable, old faithful. Well, it's moving, and this is why gold is oppressed, repressed. I don't even know the word I'm looking for. This is why gold is depressed, I should say. Gold is depressed because they sell, the commercial traders, the huge banks, they get to print unlimited fun coupons and fugazis into the air to short sell, to short the price of gold. They've been doing this for decades. And they have been shorting it in the paper markets and just, the fake markets going on after hours, stuff like that. And they get to suppress the price of gold, because at the end of the day, if you let the cat out of the bag, the canary in the coal mine, and let people know that, oh, gold's at $4,000 an ounce right now, gold's at $8,000, and that was happening over the last probably last couple decades, which is what should have happened. Then people know, oh shoot, the currency's collapsing, I got to get out. But they can't do that. They cannot let that happen. That's why gold has been suppressed and depressed so much in the last number of decades. But the free market will reassert itself. Absolutely always does, every single time without fail. It's an Ayn Rand quote. You can ignore reality. You can't ignore the consequences of reality. So gold will have its time. It's not going to do nearly what I still think gold might go to 5 digits eventually, well into 5 digits. However, you're going to have Bitcoin, the fastest horse, well into the 5, 6 digits, eventually 7 digits and beyond. Gold's going to be suppressed because, again, the younger generations, gold doesn't move at the speed of commerce, speed of light, and the younger generations don't care about gold. They don't care about silver, unfortunately. I love gold and silver, but they don't care about them. And you have to be able to play trends. You have to be able to say, hey, what are we going to build our future life on? What are we going to build a future civilization on? Again, that's Bitcoin. That's why we need a monetary network that can't be manipulated at all. Not at all. There's no inflation rate to Bitcoin. It can't be manipulated, can't be centralized, can't be debased, can't be censored. And there are aspects of gold and silver that can happen to a degree. But the biggest one, truly, is it can't move over space easily. And that's the biggest problem. That therefore leads to centralization and getting into honeypots, and then the authorities, government, central banks, banks in general, issuing more claim checks, and the whole process starts over again because we get into this fractional reserve system of them. Eventually, we have to trust the banks that they're not going to debase it, and then they end up doing it anyway, and they get greedy. This is where Bitcoin aligns those incentives. So we know humans are greedy by nature. They have fear and they have greed, and that's okay, but we have to align those incentives to work for us. That's the difference. Bitcoin aligns all those incentives to use human greed and monetize human greed for the good of all of humans. That's the difference. That's the one thing that people do not understand about Bitcoin. So please go research that. We have other videos we've done about this, and that really stands apart from every other asset. Bitcoin aligns all those incentives into deflationary, sound money network that can be used, monetary system that can be used for the entire globe. Underbanked, the unbanked, everyone gets to benefit from it. So I appreciate your time and energy. This is the update for the day. Obviously, things swinging a little bit violently this week with the FOMC, Powell's, we can't even answer questions. I mean, just the fiat system in general, what a laughing stock it is. This is why the Occupy Wall Street crowd, the Tea Party crowd, we're not trying to, millennials, some of the Gen X's, Gen Z, we're not trying to save the sinking Titanic. We're saving the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, stuff like that, but we're not saving the monetary system. We don't care about the dollar. We don't care about fake fugazis. We want sound money. We want equal playing field. Not equal outcomes, equal playing field. That's what Bitcoin brings, and that's what the younger generations are going to usher in. It's inevitable, because good money will eventually drive out all the bad money. The Gresham's Law. So I believe Gresham's Law, though, is opposite, right? Bad money drives out good. So good money goes into hiding, but eventually people all glom onto that network and has those network effects. And people are seeing the weaponization of the dollar. That's why the BRICS is getting bigger. That's why CBDCs are being talked about all around the world, because the weaponization of the dollar and the U.S. taking advantage of every country in the world because they have the reserve currency status, that won't last forever. So what's a standard that all can use fairly? It's for your friends and for your enemies. It's Bitcoin. So let's see, and speaking of that, if Bitcoin is running, and beautiful, it is. We just found a new block. So Bitcoin is running like it has for the last 11 years straight. No downtime, no nothing. And only 14 hours of downtime in the entire existence. So 2 separate events that were fixed easily, and that was it. So we can do that. We can audit it. It's a perfect runtime. Unlike banks, they can't audit banks, can't audit Federal Reserve, don't have perfect runtime with them because they're constantly collapsing, as we've seen. And Bitcoiners have been talking about this for years and years and years. And let's see, Bitcoin, as it climbs its chart, people are going to start taking notice. People are going to start taking notice. Mark my words. And this, we know absolutely without a doubt, is going to continue climbing. We're going to be more indebted, more slavery, because the government banking system doesn't know how to keep its promises and will continue to enslave you and your children. This is why we opt out. This is why we say, no, we are Bitcoining. That is it. We are in Bitcoin, and I don't know why I can't. We are in Bitcoin, and that's it. This is what the dollar has looked like against Bitcoin. It has been absolutely destroyed. So get on the train. It's not financial advice, it's freedom advice. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. I really, really do. This is the most important. This is the fight of our lives. This is the greatest game. This is why we are put here. This is why the 3%, the people that are awake, the 3% are what gave the world America, fought the Revolutionary War, and the other 97% of the country, and then the rest of the world got to enjoy America because of the 3%. That's why we're called here. I know deep down in my heart, I've known that forever. That's my calling. That's your calling too, most likely. That's why you're here. That's the community we're building. So please share this far and wide, because the truth needs to overwhelm the system. The algorithm hates truth. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. Please, let's get smarter, let's get better. Get out of the system. Bitcoin, gold, silver, food, energy, water, guns, ammo, security, and community. Build community, build community, build community. We have to build with like-minded people. It's the only way we're going to overrun this evil, corrupt, fiat, inflationary cesspool with our good, with our truth, with our reality, with a sound monetary system. And getting back to God, obviously. Getting back to truth and reality and fixing the money. You do those two things, we win. We win in the day. You get back to God, you get back into a good spirit, a good foundation, a good guiding light, and you fix the money, which probably comes right after that. Boom. The entire world changes instantaneously. It's a recipe. So I appreciate you guys. Please share us out. Please overwhelm the system. I thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.